Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Back to School Night. On the left-hand side, you can see my contact information. My email is at the bottom. Feel free to email me if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or anything like that. And on the right-hand side is tonight's schedule. This is first period, 5:30, second period, 5:45, third period, 6 o'clock, fourth period, 6:15, fifth period, 6:30, sixth period, 6:45. So let's begin with the most confusing part first. Oops, just skipped ahead. Our schedule. This is the A schedule, and the A schedule applies to Mondays, Thursdays, and every other Wednesday. The periods are listed here on the left, and on the A schedule, they're going to meet with the teachers in blue. So today, for instance, since it was Thursday, they met with their first period teacher, their third period teacher, and their fifth period teacher. They should have had independent work waiting for them in their Google Classroom for their second period class, their fourth period class, and their sixth period class. As you can see, every other Wednesday will be the A schedule. So next Wednesday, when we meet, they'll be on the A schedule. So they will be with me next Wednesday. It's a little confusing, but that's where we are right now. The B schedule, on the other hand, is just the opposite. The B schedule is when they meet with their second period, fourth period, and sixth period teacher, and first, third, and fifth will have independent work waiting for them in their Google Classroom. And as you can see, which I failed to mention on the last one, all the classes where they meet are 45 minutes, and their independent classes are 45 minutes. Distance learning expectations. Students will receive a live login session from me on the days where we meet live, Monday, Thursday, and every other Wednesday, or if this is an even class period, it would be Tuesday, Friday, and every other Wednesday. Every other Wednesday. On the days that they don't meet with me, as you can see, we have Google Classroom where there's independent work waiting for them. Students are encouraged on days that they meet with me to have their camera off just for easier communication. However, it's not required, but it's difficult to tell whether or not somebody is even there when you can't see their face. But again, if it's not required, I'm not going to push it. Students must have their mic muted, however, unless I direct them otherwise. I'll tell them, if you have any questions, I'm on another screen right now, unmute your mic and ask me your question. And the kids have really, really been good about it. They have been pretty flexible. And when we're in a live session, I do encourage kids to participate, to ask questions, to be involved as much as they possibly can. But I know some kids, especially in this kind of situation, are a little reluctant to interact. That's okay. That's not uncommon even in the classroom, that they're a little bit shy to start the year, but we'll work through that. Grading. Grading scale is the scale that I'm sure you recall when you were in school. 90% to 100% is an A, 80 to 89 is a B, 70 to 79 is a C, 60 to 69 is a D, and 59 and below on a percentage basis would be considered a failing score on an assignment. And I just want to be clear, and more with the kids than with the students, extra credit needs to be earned after all of your missing assignments have been turned in. Extra credit, the emphasis is on the word extra. To do anything extra, you would have had to met the minimum criteria and turned in your work. The weighting or the breakdown of the grades are as follows. Homework and classwork is half of what their grade is based on. Production is important. Participation in class is important. When we get our act together, we will have digital notebooks for the kids to retain notes in. For the next couple of weeks, we'll be working with notes on regular pencil and paper and figure out a way that we can get them stored so the kids have access to the information from the lessons that they can review when they're trying to do their homework. They should have their homework and their notes side by side so that they can recall what we learned that day. And the second most heavily weighed are tests, quizzes, and projects. We are concerned that your student, your child, actually is learning the material. So we do put a decent emphasis on the tests, quizzes, and projects. So yes, that's how it is. Yeah. Circumstances do come up from time to time where students are unable to turn in their work for a variety of reasons. So late work will be accepted for full credit if a student is sick, and for partial credit if they didn't do it and turn it in on time. I'll accept late work. It'll be marked down a little bit, but I'll accept late work as long as that work has been within the 6-week grading period. If you're checking Aries to see how your child is doing, any red square in Aries that you view will indicate a missing assignment. On this next slide, I'm going to be pretty brief because this doesn't apply until we actually get back in the classroom. But it will be important when we do get back in the classroom. Our expectation here at Acacia is that students are able to be well behaved in both in and out of the classroom. Kids will be kids, generally speaking. There will be a verbal warning, and me reteaching with them what appropriate behavior is in the class when I observe something that seems to be inappropriate. If that continues, we have reflection forms so that students can reflect back on the behavior, identify what they're doing wrong, and how they can correct it or prevent it in the future. Again, if the problem persists, they'll take the reflection room to another classroom and reflect with a buddy teacher, uh, just to give them some time and space away from what the problem is. If it's to this point, the problem is probably getting a little larger than either one of us would like. Student reflection filled out in the office is the fourth step. So rather than go to a buddy teacher, by the time we get to step 4, we have an administrative problem because the problem continues to persist. And then it's going to be up to administration to determine if a detention is warranted, what type of detention, could be lunch, could be after school. And then we start actually documenting because there is even a more involved process if we have a problem that just continues not to be resolved. But there's no reason to go into that. Supplies. Students need 2 pencils when they're in the classroom. Again, this refers to the classroom, so I'm going to go quickly. 2 highlighters, preferably different colors. They need college ruled paper, the 3-hole paper that has lines, colored pencils, blue or black ink pen, a spiral notebook for interactive notebook, which we'll be using more in class. You'll be getting a digital one sometime in the near future, and a composition book for our science interactive notebook. Real briefly on homework, it's going to be about 4 days per week, generally Monday through Thursday, sometimes on Friday. Sometimes the homework will be a completion of the lesson that we did that day and the homework head start we got. Sometimes homework will be writing a summary on what we learned. Homework will vary, but we do want them to reflect a little bit on what they learned that day just to determine if they understood the concept. Generally, homework should be completed in pencil on a separate line sheet of paper with work shown. I'll be sending home. I'll be posting what a sample of what that would look like for kids and for parents as well. Here we have our year at a glance with math. Your child has both of those books on the left, and We will be starting with Unit 1, Statistics and Data, Unit 2, Rational Numbers and Length, Unit 3, Expressions and Number Operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division of whole numbers, and Area and Volume. Unit 4 will be Ratios, and Unit 5 will be Equations and Inequalities. The chapters don't necessarily run in the same linear fashion as the units, so we will be jumping around the book. Science at a glance. To begin the year, we're going to start with what's called life skills. We do have a book for that, and generally life skills are teaching just that, how to improve on your self-esteem, the dangers of smoking, alcohol use, marijuana use, um, the dangers of advertising and how you can be misled, violence in the media, and so on. Then we go into our regular integrated science curriculum, which will be systems and subsystems in earth and life science, earth system interactions cause weather, cause and effect of regional climates, and effects of global warming on living systems.